I got real lucky when the Voidwoken attacked. They didn't go anywhere near the Chem estate. I know some people that lost everything. Some, maybe, but most of us are here to trade with Chem. He's tough to nail down. Luckily, our appraiser Kat's already made her way into the estate. The Chems lost nothing in the attack, so Kat'll try to convince them to share a little. She's our leader, and a damn fine appraiser too. Meet her inside and she might even trade with you.
The man in front of you is clad in a ragtag assortment of garb. He looks up from repairing a battered instrument to smile and nod at you, one traveller to another.
Ho there, fellow traveller, Luronta. Looking for some cheer to lighten the mood of this grim city? Well, Rav, at some point, long ago, I decided poetry had but two purposes: to quicken the people's river of tears, or to stave them. Look around you. You'll find fear and longing and desperation. What good is a bard's solemnity in a city besieged by void and divided by war? My privilege and my duty is to remind the people of Arx that there's blue sky and shimmering sun beyond the clouds. Good question, Callisti. You know, I think it must be Sicil. The sea air, the fish pies, and the delicious air of desperation as hovers over all port towns. Of course, and glad to. My words shall lift your spirits, make no mistake. But I need to pay my way, so I'd ask for a little gold, if you have it to spare. What do you say, Rav?
The poet tips his floppy hat to you as he counts the coin you handed over.
Now, what poem would you care to hear? An old classic or an original verse? Take a seat, Rav, make yourself at home. Give me a moment to clear my throat. And listen.
The man taps his foot in time to the bard's tune, though he stills it as you draw near and clears his throat.
If you're looking for Kat, she's evaluating all of Chem's antiquities. It'll be a while. If you're in a shopping mood, well, I can help with that. Well, this is the estate of the, venerable Chems. We've all come to trade with Linda and his missus, but with recent events, let's just say they're busy. But Kat's inside. She'll come up with something. She's an appraiser, and our boss to boot. You'll meet her if you head inside. If you've got anything she's interested in, could be she'll make you a good deal.
He looks around covertly, before turning back to you with a wink.
Could be a really good deal.
The man and the elf keep their voices to a discreet level, but it's impossible to miss the tension between them. They're arguing.
What more to convince you? More Voidwoken? A plague? An earthquake? Arx is doomed. Our future is elsewhere.
Pharaoh, come on. Where's this elsewhere that's better than Arx? This is the greatest city in the world. I'll leave it over my dead body.
Exactly. Your dead body. My dead body. This place is dead. We can be together anywhere.
They fall into a sullen silence, neither of them willing to give in.
Keep out of this.
This is not a good time. Please leave us.
My word, the mansion's positively overrun with foreign folk on this most inauspicious of Lucian's days.
He catches himself and scrapes his throat in a brief moment of embarrassment.
I do apologize if I came across as impertinent just now, and I hope you'll forgive my unabating boldness when I assume Sir has come here in search of an audience with either Lord or Lady Chem. Lady Chem is having tea in the drawing room over in the north wing. I'm quite certain a person as obviously well-travelled as yourself will have no problem drifting in that general direction, should he deem it fit to do so. I'm afraid I can't accommodate you with the opportunity to have a word with Milord Kem at this precise moment, sir. Milord left early in the morning in pursuit of business, and he hasn't yet returned. I'm not privy to the details of Milord's ventures, but I gather his outing pertains to his office as Grand Master of the Paladins and the ousting of certain firebrands from the city. A most noble task, I'm sure. Unless I'm quite mistaken, in which case I once more apologize profusely, you'll most likely find Milord in the immediate vicinity of the Magister headquarters. The Magisters, in case my previous sentence lacked clarity, being the firebrands I alluded to. Oh, I meant, of course, the lizard excellencies that have sought shelter under this esteemed roof in the aftermath of the dreadful attack that was inflicted upon the Imperial Consulate. It saddens me to say there are a number of deaths to mourn, but no doubt we all rejoice at the survival of the nobles. After all, a mere clerk is so easily replaced, wouldn't you say? How very novel of you, sir. Oh, gracious, her? I truly hope you are not in cahoots with that brazen peddler. Well, she's in the dining room. Yes, do please excuse me, for I've a party of dignitaries to attend to. They've an appetite for an aperitif, and the port, needless to say, does not pour itself.
For heaven's sake, would you please... Oh, ever so sorry. I thought you were that rotten butler about to warn me once again to take the ocular, not the tactile approach. I swear I've a mind to beat him to death with the nearest dictionary I can find. Because that little snob thinks me unworthy of being in his precious lord's mansion, appraising his precious lord's collection of antiques. Just you try judging the state of a Vadistian armoire if you're not even allowed to rummage through its drawers. Oh, he's all blood and battle, all right. Until you show him a Ferolian snuff box or an ancient imperial fainting couch, then he's as giddy as a cat in a field of catnip. He knows very well I'm the best in the business. Asked me to value his collection personally. I'm merely appraising the many antiques gathered in here in this beautiful mansion.
A roguish little smile suddenly plays upon her lips.
What else would I be doing? My, you do drive a hard bargain, don't you? Very well. Consider yourself invited. Now listen closely. Rumour has it that Lord Kim's mansion is built upon a massive vault in which he hides his true valuables. His entire house is but a smokescreen for the real treasure hidden underneath. I've had no luck so far in locating this fabled vault, but if you do, I swear the entire hoard is yours. No questions asked. All I want in return for this information is a trio of curios that is said to be kept inside. The portrait of the divine, the cup of kings, and the scroll of eternity. Everything else is yours. A most satisfactory arrangement.
Oh, a fellow noble. Such a dignified carriage could belong to no other. It's a delight to greet someone of my own station. Not that I would judge these present plebeians. They are here by invitation, of course. People like them keep the city's wheels turning and its boats afloat. Magicians among us, truly. An afternoon of hot tea and warm recitations is the least I can offer them. Every citizen of Arx gets at least one invitation to tea every year. We all deserve a taste of luxury from time to time, do we not? I may live in a resplendent mansion, but I still share my riches one lucky guest at a time. A pity my husband couldn't make it. He has his hands full, you see. Why, I barely ever see him myself.
Lady Kem's bright cheeks fall and her jaw goes slack. She is lost in thought for but a moment, however, and puts on a brave and regal face.
But I think you'll find present company more than adequate. Tea time is such a delight.
I hope everything
Yes,
is your
indeed.
utmost satisfaction.
Why, a lady without a proper tea set is no more useful than a party without a hostess. As long as you choose the most delicate leaves and brew at the proper temperature, you're destined for luxury. Would you care to try your hand at it? I have 3 varieties, each as aromatic as the last. I've no doubt you could brew a delicious cup. Yes, a classic green from the ancient kingdom Zia Valley. The leaves are twisted into crescents, a sumptuous nutty flavour. Elegant, but not pretentious, you know. Oh, I approve. Here you are, and may you enjoy every cup you brew. Well, do make the most of your visit, and be sure to stroll through the gardens. I have quite a green thumb, you know. I planted every bulb and scattered every seed myself.
Ooh, I bit the Master Kim, I did. I could have sworn it was another man in a master suit, but it weren't. Now I'm in the doghouse like the humans say. Oh, I couldn't help it. I swear, it came all smelled like when the garden man cuts down a decayed tree, like he was using flowers to hide the rots. Only nudging and tail wag the next time, I promise. No licking, though. I don't want to taste the rot again.
The lizard consulate is gone. All that survives of it is what I managed to take with me. Care to see what I have? Perhaps we can make an arrangement. It was quite terrible and wonderful. Slaughter. Death. Opportunity. We were gathered there in anticipation of Lucian's Day, when suddenly the ground shook, monsters howled for blood, and fires raged around us. Many a great name perished in that sudden hell. As for myself, I'm glad I survived long enough to collect what treasures I could. Surely you might find something useful among them? Oh, it was devastating, to be sure. But what good does mourning do for either the living or the dead? I found a spot of fortune in the flames. It would be wrong to squander it, yes?
My word, the Red Prince. A moment of your time, please, Your Majesty, if you can spare it.
What say you? Have we time to spare? Very well. By all means, milady. Speak.
It's about Sadha, my prince. I met her in our Empire's consulate here in the city. She is pregnant with your offspring, but in mortal danger as well. Voidwoken swarmed the consulate. Flames engulfed all. But even then, the Dreamers stood by her and tried to take her into the Sanctuary of Dreams. Go to her, Your Majesty. Find her and safeguard her. For her sake, and that of your children.
The bloom opens before your eyes, resplendent and regal. It emits a sweet, subtle scent, like that of a rose, though more intoxicating. The bloom scent ribbons towards you until it fills your nostrils. Your whole body flushes. You're sure you must be glowing, so deep does the warmth dwell.
Sorrow. Our joy shall be the God-woken's sorrow. Our joy sorrow.
The unusual bloom continues unabated, as if parroting someone's words rather than speaking of its own accord.
The advocate is dead. The doctor is in. The advocate, the prey offers itself. Take it. The prey offers. Take it.
The flower has gone quiet. As you near the garden, the rustling of leaves and branches turns to an insidious murmur. The closer you listen, the clearer the whispers become.
Source in the air. He must be near. Kim. The doctor sends his regards.
The frog blinks slowly, considering you with shrewd and beady eyes. After a pointed pause, he opens his mouth, flicking his tongue out to catch an unfortunate fly right from the tip of your boot.
Another blow-in? And this used to be such a nice neighborhood. Well, where should I start? Lethal plants is pretty high on the list. Not to mention kids rampaging in the pool, splashing about, doing Lucian knows what underwater, and scaring all the flies away. And then there are the self-styled heroes like you charging in there, thinking they're just gonna cut down that demonic foliage with a slice or two. Not likely. You heard me, mister. You're part of the problem. I tell you, I've had quite enough. Quite.
With that, the frog turns his back to you with disdain. The weather-beaten war owl salutes you with one wing. Looking closer, you can see a telltale scratch on her left claw. This is the war owl who delivered your message from the Paladin camp.
Sir, you sent me from the meadows near Driftwood. Carol Ann Fluffinster at your service, sir. Wherever the whistle calls me, sir. Though no doubt with the war preparations the way they are now, I'll be called up to the front lines, sir. That I have, sir. Thank you, sir. Bred and trained for service I am, sir, and proud to be some help, sir.
The owl bows before you with an outrageously over-the-top flourish of her feathered wings. 3 owls in the enclosure stare you down blankly, fluffing their feathers and blinking in turn.
Jimmy, prithee wake thyself.
The owl addressed as Jimmy lies motionless on the ground, looking for all the world like he's stone-cold dead.
Aye, aye, buck thyself up, Jimmy lad. We art blessed with a visitor.
Spying some blood on Jimmy's beak, you pry it open to investigate. Inside, you see a human finger. A few sharp tugs, and you've pulled a severed human hand loose, partially pecked. You don't need to be a genius to surmise that Jimmy choked on his dinner.
Sir, sir, quit thy poking and prithee leave yon Jimmy alone. Our lad will ruffle up his feathers in his own sweet time.
As you gingerly pack the rotting appendage in your backpack, you have occasion to wonder, not for the first time on this journey, what in the void am I doing?
Deceased? Bunkum, sweet Jimmy is just resting his eyes. Sir must be aware that one often needs a small nap after a large dinner, and Jimmy just ingested a banquet. Kem! Lord Kem! Finest paladin in all the land! Right, Jimmy?
A beak never goes empty for long in Kem's house.
Jimmy? What is it we do?
Oh, blast and bother, Jimmy! Show some civility to our esteemed visitor, won't you?
Jimmy remains dead, uninterested in answering petty questions about the world of the living.
Stuffed indeed, stuffed with food and happiness he is. But what is a mental piece?
The owls shrug their fluffy little shoulders at each other, then eye you beadily.
I don't know, Aloysius. Jimmy's always been the smart one. Jimmy? Jimmy, what's a mantelpiece? Jimmy? Fare thee well. We'll tell Jimmy you stopped by.
The elegant owl mistress glances up at you from her papers, a harried look on her face. She nods an abrupt greeting.
Yes? Can't you smell the fine aroma of owl shit? This is the Owlry, Lord Kem's communications link with the rest of Rivellon. Right now, I'm sending my fluffy friends to mobilise paladins to readiness. War is imminent. But Lord Kem's a good leader, a good man. He'll protect us. I'm sure of it. I suppose he sent you for the latest news? I doubt it. That's probably just Jimmy taking a nap, that fat owl. He eats a lot. Poor lad hasn't been able to fly properly in months. Lord Kem feeds him too many treats, and who am I to stop him? Rivellon's a big place, darling, and all of it in a shambles. Where exactly do you want to know about? We haven't heard anything from Fort Joy in a good long time, ever since a group of renegade sorcerers escaped, killing Bishop Alexander in the process. I'm no fan of Magisters, not anymore. But I can't help but think that Alexander's death was unfortunate. Dallas is only making everything worse. I intercepted some Magister communications from there a while ago. Seems like their Voidwoken problems have decreased lately, but they're not quite sure why. They're preparing for war with the Divine Order, with all 3 houses riled up in a frenzy. The House of Dreams are communing with dead warriors. The House of Lore are drawing up new maps for after the war. And the House of War? Well, the House of War are in their element. The biggest news of the Dwarven Queendom is usually the location of the Queen. And guess what? Queen Justinia is here in Arx. She's staying right here in Lord Kem's mansion. Good luck out there. You'll need it. We all will.
The ghost looks around the room with an incredulous shake of his head and fixates on the set of paintings before him.
What a fool I've been. Thieving was the best chance I had of keeping afloat in this wretched city. Never thought that would mean trying to impress a band of urchins, let alone getting crushed by a damn golem. Big Tomorrow said they'd let me in their grubby little guild if I helped them nab that painting of Kem's, the second passion of Lucian. Well, we made it in all right, and while Kem's constructs tore me to shreds, they all ran off with a painting. If you don't know her, it's best to keep it that way. That thieves' guild of hers is a cutthroat bunch of young'uns.
A dagger of pain shoots through your head, halting your advance instantly. You hear a voice, soft and calm, yet laced with disappointment.
Such a long journey you have undertaken, in the service of thieving charlatans, in pursuit of that which you will never obtain.
A long, sad sigh reaches you from the depths of the void itself.
I saw your abysmal treatment of my servant Isbale. Please, test my patience no further. This is your last chance. Abandon this folly, leave, and never return.
I am the past. I will be the future. I am the God King. You are but a misguided servant. Heed my words and leave. I do not wish you harm unless you force my hand. Because my followers are many, my followers are everywhere. Your endeavors are pointless.
The voice fades away, and with it, the pain. The man before you writhes in pain, oblivious to you. Otherworldly shackles are coiled all around him. The man raises his head with an anguished groan.
I am Ahu. Well, your search is at an end. Apologies if you were expecting a more convivial setting.
He coughs up a gout of blood. Before he can dissuade you any further, his eyes roll back and he loses consciousness. The spirit ignores you, focused as it is on tearing the source from its captive. It stinks of dark magic. There's nothing in the spirit but pain, its own and that of its captive. He resists the agony, but it's only a matter of time before the spirits tear his source away. The pain begins to hurt you too.
No, don't do it. The pain is too much. It will kill me. You can't.
He shudders as fresh waves of pain course through him.
Leave, while you still have a chance. And don't touch the...
He passes out mid-sentence from the pain.
Yeah! Stop! Please, stop! The pain, it's too much.
His face goes slack as the pain renders him senseless. The man doesn't respond. He's out cold.
My dear Lord Ahu, you should have told me you were expecting visitors.
Run, you fools!
I might ask you the same. This place is mine, after all, and Ahu was my prisoner.
Why, Kem? Why betray everything for which you once stood?
Betray? I didn't betray the Order. I liberated it. As one of Lucian's pawns, I stood for weakness, frailty. And then the God King showed me the world as it could be. He made me a promise. He promised me a path unburdened by Lucian's pathetic need to defend the defenseless. He promised me a world dominated by the worthiest bloodlines across the ages. He promised me a lasting seat at his glorious table in return for my oath. For the king chooses only the strongest, the most loyal, the most deserving. And now, Godwoken, I uphold the final act of my oath. Your execution. You can forget about finding Lucian. Believe me, no good comes from our so-called divine. I thought you might say that. Never mind. Soon enough, you'll be free of this folly.
I'm alive. I was convinced the pain would destroy me. That you would destroy me. But you freed me instead. The pain is gone. I feel almost whole. I will be, I think. Now that I'm out of Kem's damnable clutches. He and his Black Ring cronies will stop at nothing. To think I trusted a traitor. I thought him a friend, a protector of the city. Yet all the while he was trying to gain entry to the tomb. To Lucian's body. Just like you, I presume? You didn't come here by chance, did you? No. Your power, your skill. You're a Godwoken. And I think it's fair to say you didn't come to save my hide out of the kindness of your heart, either. You want to enter the tomb of Lucian, don't you? You are Godwoken. I was told Godwoken would want to get into the tomb. I was also told I should make sure that doesn't happen. Well, what people believe about my role as the keeper of Lucian's tomb is all part of the Divine's plan. I swore an oath to prevent anyone from ever entering the tomb of the Divine. But that may have been a mistake. I've heard of your deeds. People call you a hero. Maybe you're worthy after all. The Divine's tomb is a fortress, a gauntlet. No single person was entrusted with the entire sequence necessary to enter. Not even I. Lucian insisted that no one ever approach his remains, especially a Godwoken. Before he died, he arranged for the lone wolves to hunt and harry any rumored Godwoken until they were dead or banished to the ends of the world. Within Lucian's body resides the very power of the gods, the power to seed a new divine. He insisted this power remain there, eternally sealed within the tomb. To what ends, I don't know. But I know that even in his great wisdom, Lucian could not have foreseen times like these. The void's silent scream is about to engulf us. This is why I will help you. Because I believe only a new divine can save Rivellon. To pass the path of blood, you must bypass the statue of Lucian. The scroll of atonement, when used with a source amulet, will provide an alternative route. Have you by any chance met Sanders, the toy maker? He helped engineer the path of blood for Lucian. Well, most of it anyway. He's a genius, but his ways are, let's say, idiosyncratic. You may tell the toy maker Sanders I sent you. Sanders is the expert, but once you claim the amulet and the scroll, I'll explain how to use them. But be warned, bypassing Lucian's statue is just the beginning. I may be able to forewarn you of the dangers you'll face, but you must still face them. I will answer as best as I can. One designer, Sanders, became a toy maker of all things.
Ahu barks a mirthless laugh.
The others died. Dead bones keep secrets better than any living thing. The Divine worked in mysterious ways, and it was not our place to question him. I hope his spirit will forgive me for breaking my oath. He knew that his mortal remains would hold great power. The servants of the Void would naturally seek this power. We can never allow the Black Ring to lay their hands on his remains. Good luck, Godwoken.
With a glint in the dark of his eye, the spirit of Kem sneers at you.
I am sworn to the king, and sworn I remain, Godwoken. I owe you nothing. My aims are, no less than the God King's triumph. That's all you can know. Enough! Is it not obvious to you? To own the city is to own the cathedral, to own the tomb, to own Lucian. Lucian is the key. The seven may be dead, but their essence still lives within his rotting corpse. When the God King claims that final pearl of divinity, his reign will begin. Imagine it, Godwoken, a pure and perfect world. Cowards will no longer beg for scraps at warriors' feet. The fruits of our own labor will belong only to us. The divinity held within Lucian's cadaver belongs only to the king's chosen. And you are not worthy. It matters not if you defeat every last lich whose bones have risen in my master's honor, Godwoken. With or without me, with or without Ishbael, the God King rises.
Stranger, I implore you, turn back. There is naught within but black ash and void. The consulate lies in ruin. Accursed flames lap at every corner. The paladins are great and faithful warriors, but some tragedies even they can't undo. I'm sure it's a tale you've heard before, and I'm sure it has the same twist. And then there were Voidwoken. A few lizards managed to escape to Kem's estate. The rest... they were consumed by cursed flames. Yes, I bore witness to your feat at the gates. Your skills have proven invaluable to Arx. But I'm afraid the terrors waiting within the consulate aren't so... tangible.
The priestess's eyes glaze over, and she shivers in fear.
You'd have to be mad to continue. And if you managed to escape, you'd be madder still. I can't say more.
Careful! This fire's of the void! Infernal stuff. Can't be put out by normal means. Best to wait it out. It'll have to die eventually.
Voidwoken. Arx used to be safe from those things. Not anymore.
The lizards inside the consulate never stood a chance. It's all the bloody Magister's fault. They can add the dead to their butcher's bill.
Because they're collaborating with the Black Ring. It's no coincidence that those monstrosities appeared just as we confronted them about their betrayal. At least Lord Kem's putting a stop to them now.
Now, I know Kem can be a bit testy, but that's no reason to start spreading rumours like that. If you want to point fingers, start with the Magisters, but keep your crazy fables to yourself.
By all means, but if you run into trouble, don't expect me to stick my neck out to help you.
The spirit doesn't speak, but instead stretches his arm backward, an unseen weapon clasped in his ghostly fist, and moves to strike. The lizard is not of flesh, yet you are sure you feel the edge of a blade as it sinks into your chest. In an instant, you are no longer you, but him, crouched low and concealed in shadow. Panic shouts ring through the air, but you must not allow yourself to be distracted. Your eyes remain on your quarry, a female lizard, scales burning red, clad in opulent garb. You remain 20 silent steps behind her as she flees into the consulate garden, where a shimmering portal of opal and pearl illuminates the pool beneath. Finally, the opportunity has come. She is as good as dead. You flit into a cluster of tall shrubs and ready your dagger. But she has already stepped through the portal, leaving you alone in this unlikely oasis. You step out of cover and reach to the portal. What awaits beyond it? Alas, you will never know. Nor will you know whose sword it was that plunged into your back in that moment. It isn't the blade's pain that hurts most, but the pain of the failed assassination that most disturbs you as you slip into darkness. And the pain is gone. You are you again. The spirit drops his arm to his side, dejected. You see billows of golden sand stretching beyond the walls and worlds that roll across the portal's surface. It isn't clear if the portal allows return travel, but you're inclined to doubt it. The Red Prince cocks his head, then peers into the portal more closely. You follow suit, and notice a spot of red beyond the sandy swirls that you missed before.
I see destiny. We must enter. There's no time to waste. I've heard of such portals. They're rare creations of the House of Dreams, leading to planes where dreams manifest as reality. After you.
Good evening, my prince. I trust you sleep well. She is not your truth. Your deep-down truth. Your terrible, inescapable, deep-down truth. She is a lie. She is a terrible lie. You are here for the truth. You're not going to like it. Your greatest fear come true. That you are not enough. No, you are not enough! You are not enough. You were never enough. You will never be enough. Come face the truth. Come face up to your lies. You are not enough!
The glass in the mirrors shimmers and tears. Reality shifts. Apparitions take shape, and they seem familiar. An elegant and imposing lizard appears within the haze before you. Ignoring you completely, he bustles past you to the Red Prince, genuflecting before him on one knee.
Red Prince, spouse of the sun, Anan Nerhet. I, your servant Bramos. I was keeping the portal at the consulate open for you, but...
Catching himself mid-speech, he suddenly turns to glower at you, beady eyes bright with hostility.
Perhaps we could speak somewhere more private, my lord.
My companion stands with me. Whatever you have to say to me, he may hear.
Bramos narrows his eyes at you before turning back to speak to the Red Prince.
Very well, my lord. There have been so many obstacles. The House of Shadows, agents of the God King, and other trifles beneath your royal ears to suffer. But none of that bears thinking of now. For all that matters, your highness, is this. You are here, and the Red Princess awaits you.
The princess? Where is she? Out with it, man!
In the center of the dream, your majesty. In the sunset eye of the dragon. Agents of the God King seek her relentlessly. There is no hiding place safe enough for her in the material realm. Only in the dream can she rest.
Lead me to her, Bramos. Show me the way.
She's right here, my prince. Cross the threshold. Pass through the iron door behind me.
He reaches out and hands the Red Prince something small and shiny. A key.
Majesty, she awaits you.
My prince, with your every step towards me, my heart beats more happily. Come and look at the fruit of our union. A dragon, as yet unhatched. And there are more eggs lying upon velvet cushions in my tent. Dragons to be. Yet all too vulnerable as they lie dormant in their shells. What is yet unborn will one day spawn an empire. We must protect them, my love.
The House of Shadows cannot touch you here, Sadher. Protect them from whom?
The God King.
The God King? But why?
It seems inconceivable to me now. But in my blackest hour, I turned to him for guidance. You must know, my prince, I was desperate. The House of Shadows closed in around me, determined to kill me before I could become the mother of dragons. Then there was a voice. Promises of protection and power in Kingdom Come. I became sworn to the God King. But when I saw his followers, the vilest creatures one could conceive, I realized how poisoned his gifts would be. I did the only thing I could do. I appealed to our old champions of the House of Dreams and fled here, into a world untouchable by our foes. But I cannot stay here forever. Our children must return to Rivellon and fulfill their destinies. However, as long as I am sworn, as long as the God King lives, this is impossible. The burden falls on you, my love. Only you can save us.
The Red Prince nods his thanks to you.
There's only one course of action left open to us. I must face the God King and kill him myself.
My prince, your children will help you. Here, take one of the eggs and engulf it with fire. Do so, and your child will be born, ready even now to fight by your side. With a single breath, you'll usher in a new age, a new creed before which all must bow, a dawn of flame.
Sadher, the child will be a dragon, yes, but to expose it to such danger, I'm just not quite certain this would be the right course of action. Very well. My child will skip the cradle for combat. I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
The God King must burn! Under your joint command, let my offspring be the all-consuming fire. I agree. You and he have long been on the road. I suppose you trust one another. The God King must burn. So under your joint command, let our child be the all-consuming fire. Now go, and take this ring with you. It is the ancient circle of suns. By this ring, I make thee one with fire. And one day, by this ring, I'll be wed. One more battle, my prince. Then we will return to our empire as king and queen. Our children will flourish, and the world will be theirs. Our marriage will unite the houses of war and law into the House of Dragons. That is how it will be. The prophecy will be complete.
They embrace, lips hot upon lips.
Yonder portal will take you back to Rivellon, where the God King awaits. Good luck, my prince. I love you.
The shell cracks open. A small dragon's head becomes visible. It looks at the world around it and roars, flame bursting from its mouth. Though but moments born, you can already feel the terrible power of this creature.
Look at it. Isn't it magnificent? A tiny titan, ready to burst forth with unstoppable force.
The dragon hears its mother's voice and roars again. Spreading its wings, all of the shell gives way. It has happened. For the first time in millennia, a great red dragon is born. You approach the dragon and take it in your arms.
Yes. Go with your father, my darling. Make me proud.
The dragon nuzzles you with its snout, happy in its father's arms. A bright red flame surrounds you both, but does no harm. It is the magic that binds you to the dragon.
Your soul has bonded with your child's, my love. Call for it, and it will join you in battle.
Off the dragon soars, ready to heed your call.
Go ahead. Congratulate me, for take my word for it that I will treat my offspring with care. My children. I will teach them to be wise. I will teach them to be prudent. I will tame their flames. But my empire, that will be eternal. For with red dragons in the sky, it shall be untouchable. Let our allies rejoice, and our foes tremble. From now on, one has the choice to bask in our suns, or by their fire be undone. The powers of the Seven lie hidden in this city, so by all means, let's play hide and seek with Divinity itself.